Today I want to show you how to use Git reflow to power an Agile workflow. Git reflow helps to automate the pull request process, code review process, and the delivery process for software applications that are developed using Git on Bitbucket, GitHub, or GitHub Enterprise. It helps to start by creating a branch, and you can do that with the git reflow start command. And the way we do this is we say git reflow start. We like to use our initials to claim ownership on the branch and then the branch name. So this one's just called nh sample branch. Running that creates the branch on the remote repository and then checks out and sets up tracking for that branch locally. Now we want to make a change. So we're just going to change the README real quick, just as an example. There's a blank line at the bottom, we're going to pull that off. And now we're going to commit that change. Okay, so we've committed the change, and now we're going to push this up to the remote. Git reflow was built to be very lightweight and very simple. We assume that you know what you're doing with Git, and we only add commands where it's going to make your workflow a lot easier. So now we'll do a git reflow status, and that's going to tell us whether or not we have a pull request for this branch. And it comes back and say, hey, there's no pull request for this yet. So we're going to create one using git reflow review. And this is a repository that's on GitHub, so it's going to go and create the pull request for us on GitHub. And so now it's up and created, and it asks if we want to open it up in the browser. This works on Mac OS X and Linux at this point. We can add support for Windows in the future if we find that it's needed. So we hit yes, and this is now the sample pull request that I created. So you can see that is just remove that white line and just the one commit in there. You can add as many commits into this as you'd like. We really don't enforce the feature branch, which is what this is, this nh sample branch. You're able to add in commits, any kind of changes that you need to make for the pull request, and once it goes through the pull request process, then you can add a commit that says looks good to me. But let's look at what happens if you don't have a review on there and you try to deliver the code. So to deliver the code, it's git reflow deliver, and when you hit that, it goes out to check on the GitHub to see if it pulls everything up to make sure that the master branch is pulled into this branch, and now it says stop. Your code has not been reviewed yet, so we need to get a review on this branch before we're able to continue. And we look for two different things on there. We look for looks good to me, which is a comment that looks like this, looks good to me, or we also accept this +1. So either one of those is going to make an approval. You can approve it yourself, or you can give it to a team member to approve. And you can make comments on here as much as you'd like, and the comments aren't going to affect anything. So I'll show you that with that comment, it doesn't affect this. If we run git reflow deliver again, it's going to say, wait, you still need a looks good to me from enhance. Because I've participated on the pull request, that means that I now am someone that needs to sign off on it. So as you pass this around to your team, anyone who participates in the pull request will need to give a looks good to me. And we're going to go ahead and add the looks good to me now. We'll do that over here. We'll say looks good to me. And now the pull request is ready to go. So if we do a git reflow status, it's going to reach out to GitHub. It's going to see what the status is. It says, hey, all your tests passed. The last comment looks good to me, and ask if we want to open it. We already have it open, so we don't need to do that. So now the code is ready to go. It's been approved in the pull request, and we can merge it down. So we're going to do git reflow deliver. And what this is going to do is, again, pull up master into our branch, because we always want to be ahead of master. So master should never have things in there before us. And then it will reach out to GitHub, see that the code's been reviewed, and squash merge it to master. So after it's squash merged, it brings up this template for the pull request commit, for the commit to master. And you can see this is a template that includes the looks good to me on who approved the code. It includes all the squash commit comments. So if you really wanted to, you have all the commit hashes in there and you can pull them out. But in general, you want to collapse your pull request, your feature branches, so that you don't have meaningless commits making it down to master. It also closes the pull request on GitHub so that you don't have to worry about that. And it pulls in the description from the GitHub pull request, which you can change at this point. The example commit is fine. I'm just going to add to the end, used for screencast. And we're going to push this up to the actual code base. So at this point, you have a final last chance, and this is a chance. If you did not want to actually commit this to master, you can say no here. And if you say no, then master is currently, your local master is ahead of the remote master, and you're going to want to reset to the remote master, and your feature branch still exists, so you can just switch back to your feature branch. There's been no changes to the remote until you hit yes here. And when you hit yes, now it pushes up that commit we just made and deletes our local branch, and we're done. And you can move on to the next ticket, and that is Git reflow in a short summary. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope this helps to make your Agile workflow a little bit better.